Hi there, this is Neil from Lingualog.com, and I'm going to take a look at Transparent Language Online with BYKI system. And this is a new, completely online system, as the name suggests, and includes the famous BYKI flashcards. I've reviewed the old transparent software system, and I found it a little disjointed and a little difficult to use. Now they've come up with this new system, and they've allowed me to have a look at it and give my honest review of it. So I've taken a look at it, and I have to say that it's actually a lot better than the old one. This is now a really good system to use. It's much more free-flowing, much more linear. It actually guides you through the system and is a useful way of learning a language. So let's take a look at how this works. It's broken into several sections. You have the main introduction section, as you can see below here on the left. You have 11 main units, each under a different topic. They are the essential courses, and these are the ones that will guide you along learning different vocabulary in different methods, which we'll look at in a moment. You also have the flashcards, which I'll look at later, and the flashcard vocabulary. Okay, so it's several different sections. We're going to be taking a look at the essential courses first, because this is the bulk of the course. This is where you're first introduced to the vocabulary and given different methods to try and learn how to use the vocabulary, both by speaking, listening and writing. Something that I thought was lacking in the old Transparent. They did try to do it, but it didn't come together very well. This does seem to come together nicely. So let's take a look. As you can see, we have several units. I'm just going to take a look at the hello units. I've looked at several already. As you can see, the yellow ones are the ones I've looked at. If we look at the very first unit, okay, and what we'll see when we first come to the unit is we have this browse activity bar, and you can either choose to run each activity in sequence, or you can jump around and do whichever activity you desire. Now, each unit 1 is hello. It's basically meeting people. You will see that we have lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3, and then an assessment. So each unit is jam-packed full of lessons to go along and help you learn the vocabulary. Each lesson will have a different group of vocabulary. So in lesson 1 you have each of these lessons, which will be using the same vocabulary but use a different technique to try and help you remember and use the words. For example, we have phrase map, preview it, pronunciation practice, recognize and write it, Foursquare, produce and say it, game show, and dictation. Each one coming from a different direction, using a different technique and a different method to make you learn the vocabulary and help you remember it. We have a method for each of these lessons, 3 lessons, and an assessment at the end, and it's the same for each of these 11 units. So there is plenty of vocabulary, plenty of meat in the online software to help you learn the language. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly run through each of these very quickly to show you what each one of them is. First lesson, phrase map. Here we have we're introduced to the list of vocabulary, and you can click on each one and it will give you the word in the target language. In this case, I've chosen Tagalog. Basically, I chose Tagalog because I haven't looked at Tagalog before, and I wanted to use a language that I'd never seen before to help give me an idea of how the software works. So it gives you the word, it gives you the translation, and the word spoken by a native speaker, which is nice. Okay, so this is the introduction to the first group of vocabulary. They're all to do with introductions, but they're all nicely mixed up too. A nice range of vocabulary words within this topic of hello and introductions. And obviously this is only the first lesson. We have 3 lessons, so just an introduction, we're going to have a fair amount of vocabulary.
Ano po?
Second unit, the Preview It card. Basically, it's a flashcard system. It will give you the target language, in my case Tagalog, and the English, and it's another way of looking at the vocabulary. And you can turn auto flip on, so it will be like a slideshow. And of course it means you sit there and you look at the words. Of course it's a flashcard system. It does take memorization on your behalf, but it is a nice visual way with the sound accompanying it to learn a language. And of course you're not expected to learn it solely from this. This is the introduction. There are, as we will see in a moment, there are ways for them to test that you're learning it as you go along. Third section is the pronunciation section. Now, unfortunately they don't have a speech recognition software on this yet, so it's not quite up there with the Tell Me Mores, where the software itself will recognize and be able to see if the word you're saying is pronounced right and if it matches the native speaker. But they do have a nice graph, and later on you'll be able to replay what you say next to the native speaker and decide for yourself if you think it matches. So it is a very useful way for you to decide if what you're saying sounds right. And of course sometimes you think you're saying something right, but when you hear it back next to a native speaker you realize you're not, and this is an excellent way for you to realize that yourself. So you can click it to listen to it first, and then you can click record, Pauman Hint Po, and you'll see your own waveform here next to this. Mine's a little shorter, but it's never going to be exactly the same. I'm not a native speaker and I've never seen Tagalog before. So not bad, not perfect. Obviously I would need more practice. This is just a review look at this software, but you can do this for many lessons, for many classes. If you select the recording, okay, this is the one it will keep, and you can move on to the next one. And you can do that for each of the vocabulary words, and then it will save them for later. Recognize and write it. So this is basically, it will give you the word and you type in what you think it means.
Ano po ang pangalan ninyo?
And that's it. And it was basically, it's just checking your knowledge of the flashcard against the word.
Kumusta?
Okay. Okay, so as you say, it's basically a pick the right card game. You listen to the language. It asks you which one of these cards means this, or which one of these means what is your name, and as well as understanding what each one means, you have to remember where it is. So it's actually a very good game to make sure your mind thinks quickly and can choose the right one. Okay, the Produce and Save card. Now this is where a voice recognition software would be beneficial. They don't have one, so basically it relies on you saying or thinking the other side in the target language. And obviously the computer can't tell you if you're right or wrong because it doesn't have that voice recognition. Hopefully that's something they'll be working on, but it doesn't really matter. There is no point you tricking yourself or cheating yourself. If you get it wrong, say you get it wrong, tell the computer you get it wrong, and it'll be beneficial for you learning the language. You're not helping anyone by saying, yes, I'm great, I got them all right, and then not and then not being able to learn the language. So you just say or think what the word is, and then you check it, and then you say you were right or you were wrong, and tell the truth, and it will get your score up. And if it's wrong, it will give you more chance to try that one again. So if you say yes, you're never going to see that card again, and therefore you're hurting your own chances of learning the language. So although they don't have the voice recognition software, which would make it more interesting, more useful, this is still an excellent way to do it. And as long as you are fair, there's no reason why this would not work just as well as the voice recognition. This is game show, so basically you've got to think fast, work fast. While I'm talking, I can't do that. Kailangan ko, I would say, and I would write that. I would write that in here. I don't have time for the incorrect guess. There you go. So give up. Kailangan ko. Oh, wrong type of letter. So basically it's like Hangman, I guess. It's supposed to be a game show, and you get a time limit, and you can try and solve it when you think you know it. If you're wrong, you can resume, and you can give up at any time to get the full word. Okay, so again, it's a challenge. It's challenging you to try and remember the words and to beat the clock and try and guess the word in time. It's an excellent way for you to challenge yourself and make it fun. That's the good thing about it. It's not there just to make life difficult. It's to make the learning fun. It's to make it varied, keep you interested longer, and therefore you're more likely to learn. It is an excellent way, and you should take it seriously if you do it. Just sitting there learning words is not going to help. Attacking it from these different directions is the way you will learn a language well. Alright, the final test is the dictation test, and again you have the word spoken. You have like a hangman, but this time you have to write how to spell it. And of course it's difficult to get the right letters. I think that means it's right. There you go, it's right. Anapo. Okay. If you're not sure, you can of course give yourself letters. There you go, some tips, and then just fill it in. And again, it's not just helping you to learn words, it's helping you to read and write. Okay? This one exercise in itself, it's helping you to hear the word, it's helping you to recognize the word, it's helping you to know how to write the word. Because knowing these different accents on each letter is very difficult, especially when you're an English speaker. You don't have these accents on letters. It's very difficult to know where to put them. And so these little games, these little exercises help you learn that. Okay? And don't dismiss it. Learning to read and write is an excellent way to help you learn the language and learn how to speak. Once you can read and write, the speaking comes easier. Learning the reading, writing and speaking together is the most effective way to learn the language if you can. So overall, this whole online course, I have to say, is quite excellent. It's loads better than the transparent course I did before. I was very hard on the transparent people before on their old software. I didn't like it at all. This one, I have to say, has changed my mind. They have done an excellent job. There are things they can improve on for sure, but overall, this Essentials course section is high quality. Very high quality indeed. You've also got, of course, the BYKI, the Before You Know It, I believe it stands for.
Ikinalulungkot ko.
And these are just flashcards. Excellent. You can have these on an Android or iPhone device, and they are very good just to sit, turn the auto flip on, let it rotate, try and remember your vocabulary. Yeah, when you're away, if you got this on your phone, you can do this in spare 5 minutes. Turn on the the flashcards. Then when you come back home, slap on the software on the internet and do the full exercises to cement these words into your vocabulary and learn how to write them. Learn these
Bata.
accents on the A's, on the
Luma.
vowels. Yeah. You've also got the
Mababa.
VYKI vocabulary. So instead of just the general words, you can pick if you want to learn the adjectives. There you go. Some of them have pictures, some of them don't. I don't know why that kid popped in then. And obviously sometimes it's hard to have a picture. With things like animals it's probably much easier, but very useful and plenty of vocabulary, as you can see. Look at that on the left. How many different words they've got, and you can put them on your phone, on your tablet, whatever you want, and it will help you learn it. So overall then, as well as obviously you have the online reference stuff as well, and the learned items graphs. Overall then, this is 1,000 times better than the original Transparent Language, which was a cluttered, unfocused learning tool in my view, in my personal opinion. This is 1,000 times better. They've sat down, they've done the job of making it easy to go from one section to another, different exercises to help cement the words that you're learning, to learn how to read, to learn how to write. It's done a very good job, and honestly I would say take a look at this. I think the price is pretty good, and it is well worth taking a look at, and there's plenty of material here to keep you going for a long time. And the fact that it's online now and you don't have to just stick it on one computer and only work on that computer is fantastic. It's a lot better to be able to access this at any point you want, even on your smartphone, Android or tablet. So take a look at it. This is Transparent Online, and I'd like to say well done to the Transparent Company. This is a good addition to the language learning courses. This is Neil from Lingualog. Take care.